So, Rube, I asked for mailbag questions, and I got a few for you. I wrote, I just wrote mailbags all weekend, but this one was for you, and I thought it was a decent podcast topic. It was from Robert Geis, and we'll do mailbags later on in the off season. We'll do plenty of them for the podcast, but I wanted to get your take on this one. Rube wrote about his concerns about Roseman picking next year in an October column. Does he still hold that opinion, or has it changed? If it has changed, what led to his reassessment? I thought it's a good question because
Great question.
it was like late October when you wrote that, basically saying that no way Jeff Lurie should let Howie take control of a draft with 3 first-round picks.
Yeah, it's really interesting to me if you break it down to the first round and not the first round. Howie's drafted really well outside the first round for the most part. I mean, there have been misses, obviously J Jaw, but when you look at getting him a lot in the 7th round and Goddard and Miles, the 2nd round, Dickerson, Milton Williams in the 3rd round, Driscoll in the 4th round. There's a lot of good players they got in the later rounds. I mean, Kelsey was before, well, he was technically the GM. He was a 6th round pick. You can say that they've drafted better when you start considering like Fireman Danny and Rager and Dillard, that they've drafted better outside the first round than in the first round. Now, Devontae was a good pick. I will stand by. I think they need a different process with those first round picks, especially the ones outside the top 10. I mean, has Howie nailed a first round pick that wasn't in the top 10? Probably not, right? So I think that the process has to be different. Look, we all know he's not going to fire Howie Roseman, so that's off the table. But I do think they need a different process. Whatever they're doing in the later rounds, whether it's more collaborative, whatever that process is, they need to find a way to match that in the first round. It should be the other way, Dave, and that's what's so strange. I mean, Quez Watkins was a 6th round pick. Kenny Gainwell was a 5th round pick. I'm not saying Kenny Gainwell would have been a great first round pick, but he'd be better than some of the guys they've taken in the first round. I mean, if they took Kenny Gainwell instead of Rager, it'd be like, well, I don't know what you're doing taking him in the first round, but at least he's not Rager. So he's finding guys in the later rounds and missing on guys, whiffing on guys in the first round. So I will stick by the point of the column, which was he can't, whatever the process is that brought the Eagles Fireman Danny and Dillard and Rager, and you can even throw J-Jaw in there. He was a 2. That can't be the same. I do believe that they've got to figure out why they're missing on these guys and change that. But I do think Howie, and it's not just Howie, but the whole staff. I mean, they're drafting after the first round, and really in the middle rounds to late rounds has been really good. I don't think there's a whole lot of teams who have gotten that kind of talent in the mid to later rounds. That's pretty impressive. But obviously, you got to hit the first rounders because that's where you're getting the truly elite guys. The guys that are going to change your franchise. So it's a great question. I might have alluded the answer a little bit, but he's not going to fire Howie, so that's not going to happen. But I do think they got to find a better way to evaluate the top guys in the draft.
Does the performance of the rookies in 2021 alter it at all? Because, I mean, it looks like a really strong class with Devontae, Landon, Dickerson, Milton Williams, even, other contributors, Gainwell, later, Zach McPherson on special teams. They got some significant contributions. Jack Stoll, who was undrafted, but part of the rookie class, significant contributions from this class.
Yeah, it might end up being Howie's best draft. I mean, since he became GM. I'm not saying it's the highest bar ever. No, I'm just kidding. But it does change things a little bit. I think, you have a little more faith going into, gosh, they have such an opportunity to reshape this franchise in April. And, it's not just the 3 first-round picks. I mean, they've got, I think, like 6 of the first 160 picks or something. I mean, they've got some draft capital here. And whether how he's going to shuffle some things around and make it turn in more picks next year or whatever, but they really have an opportunity to, with 3 picks in the top 20. Are you kidding me? If you nail these picks, if you nail all 3 of them, it's going to change your franchise for years. If you miss on them, it's going to ruin your franchise. I mean, it's like that day. That's going to be a span of about an hour and a half. Is going to reshape this franchise one way or the other. Now, we won't know for a while exactly how, but it's an incredible opportunity that very few teams have ever had. So I have more faith in him, I think, than I did before this draft. But I think everyone's going to be holding their breath on draft day, just, see what happens. It's going to be fun, man. It's going to be a fun day. Like, just the mechanics of making 3 picks in that short a time is, like, we'll probably be joking with the PR guys. Are we going to get Howie in between 15 and 16? Whatever it is. But that's going to be a pivotal day in the history of the franchise. Score big with the AAA Eagles MVP membership, along with the superb roadside assistance and discounts you've come to expect from AAA. Get exclusive Eagles-related perks. For all the details, visit AAA.com/Eagles. Hey, Nissan just made your choice for a new car an easier one than ever with their most exciting and fuel-efficient lineup. The choice is yours. Now get great offers across Nissan's full line. Shop your local Nissan store today and nissanusa.com.
If they stay at 15 and 16, they still make them put the clock up, right? Like, it's still.
Oh, do they get 30 minutes total? Or is it 20? Is it 10 minutes in the first round? What is it now?
Yeah. I think it's 10.
Yeah, it used to be 15, right? Yeah. I don't know. And, like, how do you decide which guy you pick first? Like, that guy's going to make a little bit more,
I bet you they would think about that.
Yeah. I'm sure Howie's probably already thought about it. Like, what position, like, in what order he'll, like, minimize the cap hit. Sure. I'm sure that's there was once the Eagles picked back-to-back running backs out of the same college, like in the 7th round. It was Kevin Bowie and Fred McCrary from Mississippi State, maybe. It was like in the 6th round, back-to-back picks. One was a fullback, one was a running back, and they were roommates. And Kevin Bowie was like the star. He was like the 1,000-yard rusher, and he was all pissed. He thought he was going higher. He never played in the NFL. Fred McCrary ended up having like a 10-year career, but they were back-to-back picks, same school, same round. I might have gotten all the details wrong, but I think that's what happened.
Well, no one's going to look it up.
Somebody's going to look it up. A lot of people are going to look it up.
All right. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods.
We didn't mention the Bucks game. Don't roll your eyes at me, because what do you think Brady's going to do? We didn't really talk about the Tampa Bay game.
He's going to play next year.
I think he's going to retire.
All right. He's going to play next year. We'll have a friendly wager on that.
All right.
If you're, I don't know where I was in my thing.
If you're watching on,
gosh. All right. If you enjoy the Eagle Eye podcast, please do us a favor, rate and subscribe wherever you get your pods. If you're watching YouTube, please click the like button and subscribe there as well. For Reuben, I'm Dave. This has been Eagle Eye presented by Nissan. We'll talk to you soon.